Kevin and Karen Prevost. Got married in 1982 and got into missions in 1985. Um, and we went there to Spain. We've always been in Spain and just completed 40 years.
Yep, 40 years in missions.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Very cool. Very cool.
So,
Very cool. So what are you guys doing? What do you guys do now?
Well, what we did in Spain was
Yeah.
we were involved with pastoring, planted a church. I actually taught at a Christian school for a while in the Madrid area, and that's when we got involved with On the Red Box, which was the evangelism ministry.
Yes.
Teaching evangelism. We developed a couple of schools, an in-person school for people that were local and would come, and also an online school, both in English and Spanish. So we were working with that ministry for about 20 years in Madrid area.
Mm.
And then the Lord just directed us to transition to the States.
Okay.
And I've been involved with a ministry called Inspire, which is evangelism, coming alongside women's ministry in other countries and helping mentor them, help them. It's basically inspiring the next one to know Jesus, helping them to inspire the next one.
Awesome.
So,
I love that.
yeah.
I love that. What about you guys?
We are Kenny and Denise Manus, and we pastored the same church for 30 years in Arkansas.
Wow.
On our 25th pastoral anniversary, our church sent us on a 3-week trip to Africa, and God really rocked our world there. And, every night we would build a bonfire, and people would come out of the bush. We would share the gospel, and folks would get saved around the bonfire. When I went back to the States, I would dream about that I was back at that bonfire. And there was a voice in that dream was saying, I've called you to do this. And God was just rocking our world. And just the call just got stronger and stronger. We've always loved missions, but we realized God was asking us to step into a different role with that. And so that's what we're doing. We do Acts 2 Journey.
Mm.
It's about church health and pastoral health. So we're doing that for the whole continent of Africa. So we need your prayers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's
Take
the goal.
on.
It's a big company.
That's the goal.
Wow. Wow, that's very cool. And how long have you guys been doing that? So you were pastor for 30 years,
Mhm.
and then how long has it been
It's
since?
April of 22 was the,
That's when we started.
resigned. Yeah.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Resigned.
So we itinerated, and this is our first term.
Wow.
We're newbies.
Okay,
Yeah.
very cool.
We're old newbies.
There you go, with some wisdom, a lot of
Yeah.
wisdom. That's
We
very
hope.
cool. It's very cool. Well, that's very awesome. So with that, obviously, I want to talk just a little bit of course, about missions. You guys are the people to talk to gain some wisdom about missions. And so not only are we having a class that is going to be happening here on Wednesday nights at our church, but also just out of curiosity of people who are maybe just want to learn more about what missions is. There's a lot of people who feel called into ministry, into missions specifically, and maybe we can just help them through the journey is all that we're looking forward to do tonight. And so with that, can you explain maybe just a little bit of you guys' calling into missions specifically? What did that look like? What did that feel like? You know, what was God saying in that moment? Now, I know that you were saying earlier that it was while you were there, it was just a change of heart. Is there anything else that you were in that moment? That was the moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, really
Yeah.
was. Yeah, God was just really working on me.
Sure.
Looking back, we've supported missions. We've always been into missions on this side of this continent. We went to our first general council as pastors years ago, and they had their missions parade, and they marched in their regalia, and we cried. I mean, we were so moved.
Wrecked.
And we were wrecked. And maybe early 30s at the oldest we were.
Yeah.
And we went to the altar when they gave the call, and missionaries around us were like, "Are you sure you're not called?" And we weren't at that time.
Yeah.
It was a journey.
Sure.
But we loved missions from the very beginning. So however that worked is what we wanted to be involved in.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so great. That's so great. What about you guys?
Well, I was raised in a Lutheran family, religious, God-fearing, but, didn't really know the Lord. And I got saved through some people from Campus Crusade for Christ, now called Cru.
Okay.
Actually, I was walking through a park with my best friend, and the two young ladies came up and started talking to us about how Jesus had changed their lives.
Wow.
And I prayed with them right then and there.
Man.
Wow.
So that's kind of how I got discipled. And so I went to a Christmas conference with Cru, and there was a speaker saying, oh, here in the U.S., we have only 5% of the world's population, but 95% of all the full-time Christian workers.
Mm.
Well, I'm sure the stats have changed since then, but
Sure.
the rest of the world, 95% of the world's population has to share only 5% of the full-time Christian workers. And so my heart just was burdened, and I said, I want to be one of those that goes. Yeah. And the only ministry that I knew was Cru. And so I thought, I just was going to go into full-time ministry overseas with Cru. But when I got to University of Minnesota, I got involved with Chi Alpha, and I thought, oh, there's more. There's more than... And so it was, that's how the Lord just kind of directed me. I majored in elementary education, minored in Spanish with missions in mind.
Okay.
Didn't know where I would go, but I know there are a lot of Spanish-speaking countries, and education is an open door. And then I just prayed, God, if you want me to get married, you just have to send someone. And so Kevin moved to Minnesota to go to North Central, and that's where our paths converged. And you can tell that part of the story.
Yeah, why don't you tell them about the banana?
Oh, now we got to know about the banana. Yeah.
The banana bugs. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I think it was just hearing some kind of missionary presentation. I can't remember exactly how it fit into the timeline, but I remember, there were missionaries in Africa, the typical stories, and how, they were over there, and the natives there were eating banana bugs. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm never going to be a missionary because I do not want to eat banana bugs. And I just remember the Lord speaking to my heart and saying, if I loved you enough to give my life for you, why I would not plan a life for you that would make you miserable.
Yeah.
And so it was just a moment of surrender, and I just said, okay, Lord, wherever you want me to go, whatever you want me to do, I'm willing to do that because I trust you.
So good.
That you have the best for me.
I love that.
And then it was just a couple years later, the Lord actually called me.
Wow. And the rest is history. Yeah.
History in the making.
There you go. There you go. Still being written. That's so cool. Very cool. Well, tell me this, because not everybody necessarily feels called into missions work. But I do believe we all have a part in playing to be a missionary to not only the world we live in, around us, the neighborhoods that we live in, but the full world that God gave us, right? And so with this, even if we don't necessarily feel called and stepping into full-time mission work like you guys, what does it look like for someone to be able to be a part of missions trips? Do you believe those are impactful? Do you believe that people should go on missions trips? What do you guys think about that kind of stuff?
You have something to...
Go ahead.
Well, I think it ought to be a requirement.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because it's so life-changing.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about being called, I completely believe that if you name the name of Jesus, if you
Amen.
call yourself a Christ follower,
Absolutely.
you have a calling.
Amen.
And that calling is to disciple the world.
Sure.
Yes.
And it starts here. So you might start out with, I'm praying for specific missionaries or specific ministries, and that's my calling. But it also involves your giving.
Yeah.
So it could be giving your time to go on a trip.
Yeah.
Even if it's here in the States, there's something outside of my world that God wants me to be involved in.
Yes.
Outside of my own little
Bubble.
cocoon, my
Yeah.
bubble.
Yeah.
And so it's exploring those things and saying, okay, Lord, like she said, I'm willing to do whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we talk about praying and then sending by our monetary means, but going also.
Yeah.
So if that's a short-term trip, that's how you get your feet wet to know. Even you may even say, okay, that's not for me. That's not my calling. But now I know how to pray for those people because that's a hard life to live, or they have challenges that I don't feel called to have.
Yeah.
But there's just something about seeing it firsthand, and you see, maybe we were visiting earlier about food choices. There, you see that okay, they live differently. In our context, sometimes there's not electricity for days at a time. Even in 2025, there's not always electricity. And so when you see that and experience it, then you're conscious of the things that we are blessed with here in the States. And you're conscious of how the rest of the world lives without clean water, without the gospel.
Yeah.
Those two things are so important.
Yeah.
And you're going to find a way to you're going to find a way to pray, and you're going to find a way to give.
Yeah. So good. So good. Absolutely. What are some other things during this class that you guys will be going through that is just some topics that maybe you guys will be spending some time on, that you guys will be talking about just a little bit more in depth?
I can't help but think about that we all, Denise touched on it, that as believers, we have a part in the Great Commission, all of us. No one can say that does not apply to me
Sure.
as a child of God. So
Yeah.
we all have our part in the Great Commission. And then when you think, we understand there are 7,500 unreached people groups in the world today. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
The statistic, the last one I heard was that if you were to start counting off the people that don't know Christ in the world, if you were to line them up in 1 second, count them off, 1, 2, 3, it would take you 89 years to count all the lost people in the world today. That's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we have a part, we have a responsibility
Mm.
for that.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, we have a wealth of missionaries just even in our own church.
Yes.
And so one of the fun things that you actually suggested was to bring in some of the people that actually are missionaries, home missionaries or foreign missionaries in different ways, and have them share what they do, because
So
good.
it's just amazing the variety of
Yeah.
ministries.
The opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then because we are in Springfield, the headquarters for the Assemblies of God World Missions, well, there's all kinds of media, things that we can to get glimpses of just all the different regions of the world. So we're bringing that in, which will be really fun.
Yeah. That's going to be super
Good.
cool. I'm so excited, and I'm grateful that we have so many missionaries inside of our church, whether they're just here for a season or whether they're retired or just the season has changed altogether. It's fun to be able to have conversation and so many stories. So I can only imagine the amount of stories that is going to come out of this class in the next little bit. Right? Hopefully good stories, right? Everything that comes. But I think that's a point too to even think about is I think everybody sees almost the glamour side of the newness of what missions looks like and the fun per se that it comes with kind of just getting outside of your comfort zone. But you and I both know after the glamour kind of goes away and it's just y'all on the field, I know that can be challenging. And so talking about that just a little bit, what are maybe some struggles or some challenges that you guys have faced head on? Don't have to give all of them, just maybe one that you're thinking of that maybe was just a little tougher.
I think that's one of the classes that we talked about too, some of the main lessons that we've learned on the mission field. Just language learning. If you have to learn a new language,
Sure.
you have to learn perseverance.
Yeah.
That's a biggie. Because it's not like any other classes, it's not like math or anything like that. And
Sure.
when we first got to Spain, one of the missionary met us that kind of took us under his wing and helped us out. He said, don't judge your language learning until you've lived here for 5 years. And so, you think, they always ask, how long did it take before you dominated Spanish or something? I said, Spanish dominates us. We don't dominate Spanish.
Yeah.
And
You never stop learning.
you never stop
Sure.
learning.
Right.
Sure. So good.
But that's you got to have that long view. that this isn't fast. It takes a lot of perseverance.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I think a challenge is learning the culture and just learning what's
Sure.
appropriate culturally.
Yeah.
Not making. I mean, you're gonna make those faux pas. You're gonna, and they turn into funny stories
Sure.
later.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we've not had many of those,
You
but
will. You will.
we will. Yes. But not being offensive without realizing it. So sometimes you're so careful that you forget to enjoy the journey because you're just being so careful.
That's good.
And really, in reality, the people we've been in contact with just want us to be ourselves.
Yeah.
And they're going to laugh at us anyway.
Yeah. Sure.
So we might as well enjoy the journey. While we're
Yeah.
going.
That's so good. What about, so we talked about obviously the struggles potentially that can come with it. Let's finish off with this. Tell me one of the best things that has come out of missions for you guys specifically. What are you guys thinking about? Like some of the best things?
Go ahead.
I just think about the relationships and seeing people. We're working with church health, so
Sure.
we're not. Although we are seeing people saved and won to the kingdom, we're on that next leg of the journey to help them become healthy
Sure.
churches and healthy pastors, and just to see them really grasping that I want my church to be healthy.
Yeah.
That's good.
Is a huge win.
Yeah.
And we can't do it by ourselves.
I love that.
So just getting people to come along for the ride.
Yeah. I love that.
Mm.
What about you guys?
Well, I mean, the top thing is just seeing people come to Jesus.
Sure.
Seeing
Yeah.
the Lord move in
Yeah.
their lives,
Yes.
and working on with evangelism ministry, open air. We would engage people in conversation on the street. Several times a week.
Yeah.
We'd go out and just to see God move was just so amazing. Seeing people come to the Lord and start to grow, and then just the adventure of learning the culture.
Yeah.
For a while, we were the only missionaries in all of southern Spain. And so
Wow.
the Spaniards became our best friends.
Yeah.
They were, that's who we spent time with. That's who we did life with. And actually a couple years ago, before we transitioned here, we got a chance to go back to that whole area and, see a lot of the people that were in the church when we pastored there in southern Spain, and they're still following the Lord. The one who's the pastor of that church now was in Sunday school when we were there.
Oh, wow.
And, he grew up, went to Bible school, and now he's pastoring the church.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
So, I mean, just those relationships and just enjoying the culture. I mean, we lived there for so long. You just it becomes home.
Yeah. Wow.
I want to point out one thing.
Yeah.
The way that they have ministered in open air evangelism is so much different than the majority of the ways that are done in Africa. So it's going to be fun, I think, to see the differences
Sure.
and to talk about the differences.
Yeah.
And there's still more differences to come. I mean, we're creating things all the time.
Yeah.
But I was just, as she was saying that, I was like, oh, that's so different.
So different. Yeah.
Yeah. Than the emphasis that's going on now, at
Sure.
least,
Sure.
in pockets of
Yeah.
Africa, at least.
Yeah. I'm so excited for people to get an inside scoop, truly, of what it looks like to be on the field and what it means to come home potentially too. Not only learning that culture, but being in the culture for so long. I can only imagine what it feels like to come back home now too, whether good or bad, sometimes. And so I'm super excited about the people who get to be a part of this class. Truly, anybody who is interested in mission, has a heart for missions, just wants to learn more about missions, this is going to be a class for them. And these are the people. These are the people. And if I could be in the class and I wasn't teaching one, I'd be in yours because it's so good. So good. So thank you guys truly for just taking the next few weeks, more than a few weeks, to sit down and just invest into the people of Calvary and the people watching. And so, all right. Well, thank you guys so much.